Knicks couldn't shoot the ball in the ocean in the first half yesterday. They shot just 26% from the field. Well, how can it be anything but disappointing considering what you just highlighted? Luka Doncic, Klay Thompson, and Daniel Gafford is out. And
is this the moment Stephen A. Smith gives up on his beloved Knicks? After years of disappointment, one game might have pushed him over the edge.
And this season, for whatever reason, they returned to the disaster. I won't even talk to anybody within the organization right now. I'm just that disgusted. I really am. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to talk to them. I'm still holding out hope that they can make amends. But I'm very disgusted right now. Listen, I got boys on that team.
The Knicks just shot 26% in the first half against the Mavericks. Yeah, you read that right, 26%. But it gets worse. The Mavs were missing Luka Doncic and still crushed the Knicks.
Monday night shows up and stinks up the joint with 3 of 15 shooting last night, so that wasn't good. I know that Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson ended up with their numbers, but they were far from efficient. In the end, there's levels to this, and the Dallas Mavericks with Kyrie Irving showed that they are on a different level.
Stephen A. is furious, and he's not holding back. You've got to hear what he says about the team's defense. It's brutal, honest, and might change how you see the Knicks.
Stephen A., what are your thoughts on your Knicks right now?
Well, how can it be anything but disappointing considering what you just highlighted? And OG Anunoby, just after dropping 40 against Denver, field goal percentage defense, they're 22nd. 3-point percentage defense, they're 27th.
Picture this. The Knicks are facing the Mavericks. No Luka Doncic in sight. Should be a walk in the park, right? Wrong. The game starts off hot. Knicks fans are on their feet. Stephen A. Smith is practically glowing. He's talking playoffs, championship, the whole 9 yards. The energy in Madison Square Garden is electric. You can feel it through the TV. But then something weird happens. The Knicks shots just stop falling. And I'm not talking about a little cold streak. I'm talking ice age levels of cold. It's like someone put a lid on the basket. The ball's bouncing off the rim like it's allergic to points. You know what's even crazier? The Knicks shoot 26% in the first half. Yeah, you heard that right. 26%. That's not a typo, that's a tragedy. NBA teams aren't supposed to shoot that badly. High school teams aren't supposed to shoot that badly. While the Knicks are busy building brick houses, the Mavericks start cooking. And remember, this is without Luka. The Mavs are moving the ball, hitting their shots, looking like a well-oiled machine. Meanwhile, the Knicks defense? Nowhere to be found. It's like they left it in the locker room at halftime. The final score? Mavs win by 15. Without their superstar, it's a massacre, plain and simple. The Knicks didn't just lose, they got embarrassed on their home court. And Stephen A.? Oh boy, you can probably guess his mood. The man who was talking championships earlier, he looks like he's ready to throw in the towel on the whole season. His face is a mix of anger, disappointment, and pure disbelief. So why is Stephen A. so upset with the Knicks' performance? It's not just about one bad game, it's about expectations versus reality. It's about a team that was supposed to be on the rise, suddenly looking like they've forgotten how to play basketball. It's about defensive lapses, offensive struggles, and a complete lack of fight against a team missing its best player. For Stephen A. and Knicks fans everywhere, this game isn't just a loss, it's a wake-up call. And it's got everyone questioning, is this the same old disappointing Knicks, or can they turn things around? Remember that wake-up call we talked about? Well, Stephen A. Smith just cranked it up to 11. He stormed into the ESPN studio like a man on a mission. And trust me, he's not here to play nice.
We're at midseason, at least all-star break point. We've been talking superlatives all show.
Yeah.
Who's your biggest disappointment so far?
It's a very, very disappointing thing. I'm embarrassed that there's footage of me talking about we here last year, because we damn sure ain't here now.
Sure, so I just want to...
It's them damn New York Knicks. That's who the hell it is. The New York Knicks they're an unmitigated disaster.
The New York Knicks are a national disgrace, ladies and gentlemen. They're horrible. Those aren't my words, folks. That's Stephen A. Smith, laying it all out there. And he's just getting started.
Spike Lee, I would show up to another game this season. I know I'm not going to another game at the Garden this season.
Not at all.
I'm not going. I'm not going. The New York Knicks, it's a damn shame how they've disappointed me. They've disappointed New York Knicks fans. Seriously. I'm just disgusted. I really thought that we were out of this, that the New York Knicks were going in a different direction.
You know it's bad when Stephen A can't even hide his disappointment. He's talking about how the Knicks got steamrolled by the Mavs without Luka Doncic. That's like losing a race to a car with no engine. It's embarrassing, and Stephen A knows it. But here's where it gets really wild. Stephen A starts breaking down the defensive stats, and it's uglier than a brick shot at the buzzer. The Knicks aren't just losing, they're getting torn apart on both ends of the court. It's like they forgot how to play basketball overnight.
I mean, he's the president of basketball operations. You don't see him, you don't hear from him, nothing. We don't know what the hell he's doing, all right? Tom Thibodeau, I happen to believe, is a damn good coach, all right? Particularly, I think he's a genius defensively. The biggest reason for my disappointment is Tom Thibodeau and Julius Randle.
Stephen A's not pulling any punches. He's questioning everything. The players, the coaching, even the team's future. You can see the pain in his eyes. This is a man who bleeds orange and blue, and right now, he's wondering if it's all been for nothing. You want to know how bad it is? Stephen A looks ready to throw in the towel on his beloved Knicks. That's not something you see every day. It's like watching your favorite superhero hang up their cape.
I don't know those numbers when it comes to a Tom Thibodeau team. Defense is his wizardry. Knicks got to get it together. Minnesota isn't the only team struggling since the trade. The Knicks are 24th in defensive efficiency. I don't understand it. They got to get it together, but I believe they ultimately will.
But wait a second. Just when you think it's all doom and gloom, Stephen A throws us a curveball. There's a tiny glimmer of hope. It's small, barely visible, but it's there.
So I just want to.
It's them damn New York Knicks. That's who the hell it is. The New York Knicks they're an unmitigated disaster. I don't understand it. They got to get it together, but I believe they ultimately will.
Yeah, they will, Stephen A.
I believe they ultimately will get it together, Stephen A says. It's not much, but coming from a man who just called his team a national disgrace, it's something. It's like seeing a single ray of sunshine on the stormiest day of the year. So here's the million-dollar question. Can the Knicks turn it around? Can they prove Stephen A wrong and show they're not the same old disappointing Knicks? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, Stephen A. Smith isn't going to stop calling it like he sees it. And right now, what he sees isn't pretty. Stephen A's rant isn't just for show, folks. It's a wake-up call for the Knicks, and boy, do they need it. They've got more work to do than a kid with a month's worth of homework due tomorrow. But here's the thing. The NBA is wild. Things can flip faster than a New York minute. Remember the 2020-21 Knicks? They started rough, but ended up in the playoffs with home court advantage. That's the kind of turnaround these Knicks need. Coach Thibodeau's talking defense and consistency, and he's right. If they can lock that down, who knows? The Knicks have some tough games coming up against the Celtics and 76ers. That's when we'll see what they're made of. Can they bounce back and prove Stephen A wrong? It's gonna be a wild ride, and you better believe I'll be watching every second of it.